simple things, but that is not. It may be very simple, but these things are very important from the at least mainly for the those who want to join the industry or academia after completing his graduation. Before going deep into the post pandemic situation, post COVID-19 situation, I would like to mention few things which what I have observed generally at the level of undergraduate study, students miss. First of all, when we join, when we are doing a study in the bachelor degree, and before entering to third year or when we have completed third year, your goals should be very clear, and it should be very clear that what you want to do actually in your life. That is very important. Job is a one very small part of your life. Somehow today or tomorrow you will get. That is not an important thing more. But how you are, what is your career goal? And after doing completing graduation or master degree, how you want to give a certain shape to your career. For that, if you make an early plan, at least when you just complete your bachelor degree, or you are just entering the fourth year, when we are studying in the bachelor degree, to study well all subjects, develop all other additional skills such as programming, coding, everything is important. Being a mechanical engineer always is a very wrong conception that there is no need of programming for a mechanical engineer. But I can say everyone must know the at least one programming language, at least one basic programming language at the undergraduate level. If whether you want to join industry or academia, when you are in the third year or fourth year, your career should be very your interest, what you would like to do, or what type of profession you want to choose. Based on that, you have to decide whether after BTech you want to join the industry or you want to go for higher study, or after higher study, completion of higher study, you want to join the academia or research. It may be industry. For that, you must have a very good grasp of your fundamentals. Now, it may be possible due to certain restrictions or limitation of many colleges, you may not get good classes, you may not get very good study materials. But I can tell you at this stage, at this present time, the getting good materials and getting good lectures from all over the professors, lectures of whether it is MIT, ISC or foreign universities is very easy. All are available on the online websites. You can download and you can study. There is no issue. For at least from I suggest everyone should appear for the GATE exam. It doesn't matter if you want to do the MTech or to further you want to do a PhD. They are also recruiting based on the GATE scores. Also, even if you are applying for a campusing job or industry job just after BTech, if you have a good GATE score, it creates a very strong, good impression in amongst the interviewer. That yes, you have qualified the GATE exam and you are a very good student. It doesn't matter from which background you belong. In a discussion of many students who are coming from the simply just like private engineering college or simple engineering colleges. They have a negative conception that since I am from a private engineering college, it is very, for me, opportunity very limited. No, not at all. It is a very misconception. Okay, if you are very confident, your fundamentals are very good, and if your dream is very big, you can achieve anything, whatever IITian or ISC students achieve. They no confusion. These things I can base from this last 10-year experience. No one can stop you. Everyone give the value of talent and your knowledge. Okay. Definitely, it is always it happens that initially the interviewer asks from which college you belong. When you tell your name, definitely it is not very top elite institution or top elite college. Initially, it creates for timing for certain span of time a negative perception. But if you get opportunity to ask the questions from your fundamentals, your career goal, and if you are able to answer properly, definitely they will select you. They see only the quality. Okay. Now, one thing I can in a question paper and make a thorough research. What type of research? Okay. First of all, categorize. You have gone through 40, 45, 46 subjects throughout your 4 years. But don't see for the GATE exam, no need to bother for all subjects. At least when you are applying for the GATE exam. For being a mechanical engineer, at least if you focus 8 to 10 subjects, you can get a score within 500. That I can ensure. Now, when you are doing the research through your GATE question paper, last 5 years question paper, what you will find that most 70 to 80% questions are asked only from the 8 to 10 subjects, not more than that. Now, it is very easy to grasp the 8 to 10 subject when you are going for the GATE exams. And later, when someone is interested, I can tell the specific name of the all courses or subjects. First thing. Second thing, when you are giving the GATE exams, always, unless you are very much 100% confident, don't try and giving the exams in a semester. Really, it's a boring thing. No one likes this. But this is a part of system. That's why you have to appear for the exams. But in research, these things are little different. In research, whatever you like, you get the opportunity to do. Suppose in a mechanical engineer, you like the fluid mechanics. Now, suppose in the fluid mechanics, you like the flow through pipes. Now, you'll get an opportunity. What are the new outstanding research questions that can be addressed? Based on that, you can define the research problem, and you have to especially work on that. But keep in mind, when you are working on that, don't think only knowledge of the fluid mechanics will be used. It may be the knowledge of the other fields might be used. For that, definitely, that is not an issue. You can study and you can gather the knowledge. That is not an issue. Next important point. Now, at present time, research has totally changed. Now, at present time, if you think I am a mechanical engineer, I'm not interested to know at all about the electronics engineering or chemistry or physics or electrical engineer. This is not good. This barrier you must break. Since whole research nowadays has become the highly interdisciplinary, cross-disciplinary, and unless if you are not doing the interdisciplinary research, most of fields will not able to give a significant contribution to the research community, and definitely as a result you will not get the recognition. That's why it is very important that you should be very open. Your attitude should be very open. When I am joining in a certain institute for doing research or whatever problem is given or whatever problem you choose, okay, first you should think always of the outstanding, a very good problem, not whether there only fluid mechanics is involved or fluid mechanics and electrodynamics involved. That should not be the question. Question should be whether this problem is a very good research problem or it's a very simple problem. If you want to be a mediocre researcher, you definitely you like to choose a very simple problem where only the basic fluid mechanics is involved, but you are not going to do a lot in this field. Since only lots of work has been done. Or if you are really interested to do MTech or you want to do research further, you should start to contacting with the professors of different universities. You can write a proper mail with proper drafting, your interest, and say that you want to work with them. Then definitely, if they have vacancy, they will call you. But before applying to any professors or applying for requesting for any project job or research job, you must do the research of the profile of the professor, in which field he or she is working, and try to go through one or two papers. It will be very difficult to understand papers at this level, but from introduction and abstract you can understand what is really all about. Based on that, you can develop your relate your interest and make a one CV, or you can a statement of purpose, and you can write to the professor. So I have gone through these things, your latest publication, latest research work, and I'm highly interested to work with you if you give me an opportunity. So I want to like one things at this time. Many necessity the mother of the invention is a very true things. When you are sometimes you are certain very much constant situation, we do the big things. That is, no one can deny.
Engineering has no reason to come to the field of information technology. And trust me, around 60% of the total IT professionals across India today are from non-IT academics. So if they can, why can't we? So first and foremost, if you feel that you have got some technical problem solving urge, you should come forward, and IT has a lot to offer you. And that is when you strive to become a customer success creator than merely being an engineer, right? Now the question is, what will be my career opportunities if I choose IT as career at this juncture of both bad and good times? Today, we are in kind of a situation I would rather say exceptional situation, which is once in a lifetime and never experienced one. Everything seems to be new around us. We are just trying to balance our life, our work, our resources, our investments in this situation to keep going. So when it comes to hiring, I don't see it has really come down, but rather it has moved to a virtual space. So right from the resource onboarding to the IT delivery model, everywhere there is a change which is significant, I would say, and we have to accept it. And this change will definitely have engineers who are looking for new opportunities. It's high time that you have to be on your toes to overcome these challenges. Because the activities or the way we think has been synchronized to one style of working. We have never thought out of box in a skill yourselves for the interview when actually it kicks in. There are enormous numbers of contents available in the web, like Google, YouTube, LinkedIn, Udemy. These are only to name a few, which we can make use of, that will enable us to be comfortable with the changed landscape. Let's now, indeed there are some concerns out there for the future job markets. There will be new kind of jobs or opportunities post COVID-19 for sure. In many ways, the situation has helped demonstrate the power of technologies such as cloud and big data. And we all know that India is moving forwards to the way of digital era. So this cloud and big data will definitely have, I would say, more importance in the coming days than we have today. I would like to mention a few of the trending technologies. Those emerged even more powerful than the percent in the wake of COVID-19. It's a substantial amount, and you should have good infrastructure to support this huge demand. So the industry will have a good number of tech opportunities in data science areas post-COVID. So data scientists will be in demand. I don't say this is not in demand at this point, but the demand will definitely increase. And job opportunities for data engineers, data scientists, data analysts, and artificial are slowly moving to the cloud computing infrastructure even more than the earlier, due to this abrupt and untimely change, I would say. So such a situation post-lockdown will definitely accelerate the cloud migration even more. So if you are learning the cloud, booming thing I would like to discuss in IT is cyber security. So what happened is people have moved to this remote work culture nowadays. Everybody is connecting from home. So due to this remote work becoming a new norm, organizational data is even more at risk. So people relying more on personal and less secure Wi-Fi networks, which usually we do at home than doing in our offices, has increased the threat level. In some cases, systems that were once protected by very high levels of security are now only as secure as an employee's home router. So this increase in vulnerability comes at a time of amplified economic insecurity, leading an increased probability of cybercrime. So the cyber hackers are always prudent to determine which system is more vulnerable, and they will definitely not turn any effort left behind in order to hack or get access to your systems if really they are vulnerable. So consequently, it seems extremely likely that there will be an increased focus on cyber security over next 12 to 18 months. So in case anybody has any interest regarding cyber security, it is going to get some momentum in the coming days for sure. At last, I would like to discuss something about digital marketing. So how many of us really visit store nowadays, more specifically during this pandemic, to get daily essentials like our pulses, medicines, shoes, etc. I believe the actual number of people flocking nearby stores in order to get those items are gradually decreasing, and this creates an opportunity for the folks in IT. So, with more people consuming information online, digital marketing has become the lifeline for CEOs as they seek to reduce marketing spends, and which is quite obvious. You need to think at cost perspective to sustain situations like COVID-19. With such an increased demand in digital adoption, there will be a demand for digital marketing professionals for sure. So I just discussed few of the topics or few of the fields in IT which are gaining momentum in the wake of COVID-19. But these are quite a few worth mentioning. The list is enormous when someone really goes and explore. And I'm sure that you are the one who is going to make it happen. Having said that, I go by the saying, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. Despite several downsides, let's try to focus on the upside of the pandemic this pandemic might have brought to us. The way I look at the upside is the ample time it offers to keep ourselves prepared and focused by upskilling, learning new technologies, and making us definitely adaptive to the changed era. Finally, I think we should have some patience to wait for the right opportunity to hit at the right time. Wish all of you guys all the best, and I'm sure we will be able to get past this difficult time soon. Thanks. That's all I wanted to share with any.
What happened is that I did my engineering in 2011, and then in third year I was placed, thanks to SMIT again, in India's largest engineering conglomerate, which is L&T, as an engineer. So I joined L&T, working in the sites, doing hands-on job. I have done hands-on proper welding and stuff, even though that was not within the job description, but I did it because of interest. And then slowly what happened is, as I grew within the organization, I shifted towards project management, and that led me to a role where I was managing around 300 odd people, and that's when I realized how crucial is the people management skills for the growth of a business. I'll tell you an incident which happened in my life when I was in Tata Steel in Kalinganagar, which was a highly disputed project. India's largest and most modern steel plant was being made there, but however, due to some problems, there was a clash between the Tatas and the local people. And what happened was, there was a person who died, and there was a lot of conflict. The laborers attacked our officers, and we really barely saved with our hands in our lives. Luckily, due to one of my supervisors, I fled the scenario, but that made me contemplate what is going wrong, where the businesses are going wrong. So what happens is, businesses have one key focus: to make profits, and that is the responsibility of a business towards the society. But when that has no bounds, that creates an evil in the society, and that's when this backlash happens. And managing the backlash is a lot of a big problem. All politicians come in, policies come in. It's a total Pandora's box that opens up, and you don't know what to do. So that's when I thought I should study the people management skills, and that's when I applied to TISS, which is a great organization, gave me a great opening. A lot of my speech today will be whatever I learned at TISS Mumbai and through my course, and of course of my professional experience. So let's start by saying that mechanical engineering, once you do, you will have a whole gamut of opportunities at your doorstep. It's a great core engineering course. Great companies are always there for you to connect. But today I will focus not on those great companies, but how to build up you as an individual, you as a department, you as a college, connect to those companies, and also to address what those companies want and how you can change yourself to be at a position where they will demand you in their company. So there are about 7 or 8 odd options once you have graduated. So one is obviously the campus placements which you can do. Second will be the higher studies, MTech in India. Third will be obviously a lot of people's choice, which is an MBA. Fourth can be civils. Many people are taking up civils these days. A fifth option can be doing a short-term courses, like what San was saying. Data analysis is a big in-demand course. AI is a big in-demand course, or even mechanical related courses which enhance your skills in design engineering and such other courses. Sixth option, which is very much popular among the millennials of these days, is entrepreneurship. Many people go into that sector and they are being very successful. However, the success ratio is a bit staggering towards the negative side, so it can be a bit challenging. A seventh option can be doing an MS. So go abroad and do your MS or PhD, whichever course you can get in. And last would be going into the army through the UES. So I'll be happy to tell I have tried most of these. I've twice given army from SMIT. SMIT arranged all that, and then I did try for my MS. I can help you with that. I'll talk a lot about that in the lectures. I did my MA. Technically it's an MA degree. TISS doesn't offer MBA, but it is at par with any MBA provided by the IIMs. And I did my campus thing from SMIT. Right. So let's start by saying that these are difficult times. Okay, don't be restless. Right. Keep your head low. Try finding all the options you can find as of now, and prepare yourself for the battle that is coming up, because once the market is right now, the market is opening up, but when it will be fully open, a whole lot of new opportunities will come up, and you need to prepare yourself for that. A senior from my school once told me that every year there should be one new thing that you add in your CV. Keep that in mind for the rest of your life, and you will excel. No one can stop you. So this is a good time to work on your CV, guys. This is a very good time. So prepare yourself for the market. Add some new credentials, and you can obviously try and learn new courses. Like you can take the help of Coursera or Academy and LinkedIn. There are various courses you can delve into and research on the net. Another option was MTech, which I will not talk about. Sumita is more more knowledgeable on that. He will talk about that. He has already. But I will talk about options like MBA and other such courses. So let me tell you a little bit about the various MBA courses which you can do. So one will be a financing in HR, which finance, then HR, then marketing and sales. These are the main domains. All can do a general MBA. However, there are various other MBA courses which you can do while you are at a job. Okay, so if you come to HR as a course, I think mechanical engineering, if you do a little bit of 2 or 3 years of job on the field, it's a very good option for you people, because honestly, me coming to this course, and it has changed my entire outlook, especially the institution, which has given a huge kind of exposure. So this course, that HR course in specialty, will you can use all your engineering skills, and you can use your analytical skills and understand